Hello and welcome to Lost in Translation, the show where we look at things through a gender sphere? I don't know.
Crystal ball.
Crystal ball.
Crystal ball. Then you can do this with your hands, or you can let me do it.
Yes, that's what we do. So tonight I'm joined by Simona and Kurt, so welcome.
Good to be here.
Good to be here.
Great to be here.
Yeah. Excited?
I'm peaking.
Excellent.
I'm whipping up tabs, in fact.
Excellent, excellent. So I thought we'd have a bit of a chat about sort of femininity, masculinity. Is femininity sort of? Oh, I know.
Interesting. Whipping up Lamingtons.
Lamingtons now. No more Pav.
No more Pav. Well, it's a sandwich dessert. Yeah.
You just like
continue. Sorry.
No,
You're the host.
Feel free to continue.
Fuck shit up.
So.
Oh, we've already asked it.
So is femininity underrated?
Yes.
Is that what we're asking? Look, there's such thing as male privilege still in the world. So I don't think it's underrated as such, but I don't think that it's as desired as masculinity.
Well, if I can put it in this context, perhaps, there's like, you know, okay, well, good manners is kind of good, and I kind of think this discussion ends up becoming too much about gender and too much about masculinity and femininity, and particularly when people do make the transition, and all of a sudden things like privilege is changed, and all of a sudden people's behaviours change. I still think that, as some person put it to me very eloquently years ago, there's no excuse for bad manners, you know. So you can kind of change, you know, I guess how you perceive an experience through the way that you're presenting through your gender. But I don't think that those things transcend, you know, just good old-fashioned bloody good manners, you know. So you know, there's people that have been accused. Okay, well you get your male privilege and then you treat women like shit, or vice versa. I think it's good to not forget where we've come from, and to remember those experiences, and just respect. At the end of the day, it's about respecting people and just being nice to people, you know. So how does that grab you?
So are you saying that manners? So would you say that manners are more feminine or more, or is it?
Oh no, I think they're universal. But I think that this discussion about, you know, overrating or rating, you know, femininity and masculinity. Obviously, if you're transitioning male to female, then femininity is a big deal for you, and vice versa. So. I don't think it's overrated or underrated in any of those individual experiences, but I think that where people come unstuck in describing an experience where they feel slighted, or describing an experience about how they feel like advantageous, sometimes I think that just good old-fashioned manners, I think, is something that people really trip up on, you know, and yeah, so.
Well, I think, Simona, when, you know, I heard this fact the other day that when we first meet someone, the first thing we notice about them is their gender. And, you know, sort of meeting someone and then, oh, well, they're female, you know, that's the very first thing, and then that dictates how we're going to talk to that person for basically the rest of the time that we're going to know them. And it is sad that we treat females different to males, but that's sort of how it happens in the heteronormative world.
Yeah, and I guess my point has always been, like, it's just, like, it doesn't matter.
We're all just people.
Well, I mean, I did get married at one point, and I didn't want to, you know, do that male way of proposing and getting engaged and asking, you know, my fiance's dad for permission to marry her, which I just thought was like, oh, God, I'm not going to do that, you know. So this expectation to perform gender roles. I mean, I think this is a discussion which is sort of, you know, outside of a trans experience, and it's like I said, it's universal. But one of the things I got really, really sort of caught up on through particularly my experience as presenting as male was I completely rejected these manly ways of treating a woman. And in the process, I was actually being really rude at times. And like someone said to me, you know, there's no excuse for bad manners. Like just some things that you do for people and some things that you do for women as a man is actually just good manners.
Yeah.
You know, if you want to buy someone flowers or open a door or all that kind of stuff, like don't think that you're like disempowering somebody, you know. But yeah, if you think you got to ask, you know, like your girlfriend's dad to marry you, like sure, like that sounds a bit, you know, patriarchal and probo. Probo, that's my favourite word at the moment. But it needs to be, I'm going to say problematic, it needs to be backed up with a reason. So, you know, problematic because, you know, anyway, you know that. You can make up your own mind. Continue. I've made it so serious now.
It is a bit serious, isn't it, this? Maybe we could, have you got a funny story, Nate?
No. I can't do it on demand. I suppose that the thing I've noticed with the whole is that I suddenly have this sort of male privilege, which I don't necessarily want. But then, you know, and sort of separate to that is that I've noticed that through transition is that I originally was like, oh, I've got to be masculine. And so, but the further I've sort of gone through, I'm like, oh, and sort of embracing the feminine side as well. And I wonder...
I think that's sort of because you've gotten past that awkward stage of am I passing, and you're like 100% passing. You feel a lot more comfortable to then have a little go at getting maybe a bit more feminine, or because, you know, you're still a dude. Even if you put on a pink shirt right now, you'd just be a dude in a pink shirt. Like you wouldn't look like a lesbian or any of that plaid
I would
shirt
look fabulous.
Stuff. You would look fabulous.
Obviously.
Yeah.
Well, you know, I mean,
You know.
or on the other hand, like you're not passing. I mean, I was obviously not passing on Thursday night. I was at a gay club, and I had the security guard pull me out as I was going to the girls' toilets and told me, "Hey, mate, go to the men's toilets." And I was just like, so my manners kicked in, and because it was a nightclub, it was loud, and I had a few drinks. I just flashed my tits and walked into the girls' toilet.
I love it.
You know, I was like, "F you, darl." You know, so you know, getting away with it. What does it matter?
Yeah. Well, that seems like a great story to end up on.
Yeah, magic lasso's happening.
So, thanks for sharing that one.
Oh, share and share alike, darl.
You've been watching Lost in Translation.